Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And who is he?
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer.
And what he do?
Frequency is up. We're having a club love party. That's like a special private party that I throw, but you're invited. You're invited, club love. It's all R&B all night. All the things that I would play in my vibration, my frequency, because my frequency is different. Frequency is different.
Well, the party's over for Diddy Combs. That global icon has now become a global pariah. Global pariah. Bring Bruce in. If you look at Justin Bieber, who looks a pretty broken guy right now, and you do wonder how much of that is linked to all this and what may have really gone on with him. Again, there are a lot of rumors about what may have been done or not done to Justin Bieber when he was around this scene, when he was young, underage. And I look at him now, and there's something very off with Justin Bieber.
Legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So, and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
Please subscribe to the Billy Luna channel and like the video.
Justin Bieber has been, I think, maligned by everybody in his orbit, honestly.
Yeah.
But there's a video out there where Diddy's talking to him and saying, you know, you haven't called me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he looks so uncomfortable with him. He just looks so uncomfortable. But one of the things I wanted to say is Diddy doesn't mess with the rich and powerful. The people who are big time, this and that, these freak offs were a deviation of a magnitude nobody could really see coming. And they don't happen with people he doesn't have control over, whether it's by drugs or your career or physical domination. And that doesn't generally happen with the Jennifer Lopez's of the world or some of the other people that are much more high profile. The people who are lower profile, who he's got his finger on their neck, basically, and those are the people he can control. And so, and that's different than either the pass arounds or the groupies that hang out with the parties and that kind of thing. That's a completely different scenario.
He also has a lot of photographic evidence of famous and powerful people up to no good, which he could leverage against them.
I want to see more people arrested. Like, where were the bookers, the security, the transportation? Where are the assistants, the chief of staff, the chefs cooking food, people cleaning up the room? I need everybody arrested.
Well, I think, I mean, surely Diddy, look, if the case against Diddy is so overwhelming, I can quite believe these reports that are coming out that he's considering turning on everyone. He'll have nothing to lose.
Bruce goes on to mention that many of the people whom are implicated or complicit will be the snitches of the case. Bruce has said many times in the past that all federal cases are bought and paid for with the testimony of snitches. When Piers suggests that Diddy may turn rat and become a snitch, Bruce points out correctly that Diddy doesn't have that option because he is on top of the pyramid.
I can quite believe these reports that are coming out that he's considering turning on everyone. He'll have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
He knows if he doesn't, he's going to prison the rest of his life.
He's the top dog. He won't be able to cooperate against.
Hang on one second, Bruce, you go first.
He won't be able to cooperate against anybody. He is the top dog.
Yeah, but surely he could still do some kind of deal, couldn't he?
No, the feds don't want the little people involved. They want Diddy. For all intents and purposes, this video is a one-on-one with Piers Morgan and Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, on the hot topic of the criminal prosecution of rap mogul Diddy. Bruce Rivers appeared on Piers Morgan on a panel of 6. What I'm going to show you and react to is just the parts of the show featuring Piers Morgan and Bruce Rivers. I think that when you have a panel of 6 guests on a show, that there is way too much cross-talking and the show gets too muddled, mumbled, and jumbled. So I'm simplifying it and just giving you Piers and Bruce. Bruce Rivers is a legal giant, and I am a huge fan of his and totally trust his breakdowns of legal situations. So my video will present you with only the best, most relevant parts of the discussion. Stay tuned to the end of the video for a preview of an exclusive hour-long interview that I conducted with Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer. I will be dropping my interview with Bruce Rivers next week. Bruce and I discuss current legal cases, the mafia, and much more.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution. The indictment alleges that between at least 2008 and the present, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. As alleged in the indictment, to carry out this conduct, Sean Combs led and participated in a racketeering conspiracy that used the business empire he controlled to carry out criminal activity, including trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
Currently, Diddy sits rotting in the dismal dungeon that is the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York. He has been denied bail and is reportedly on a suicide watch.
Here to unpack the fall of a global icon from the Criminal Lawyer Reacts YouTube channel, Bruce Rivers. Bruce Rivers, let me start with you because you've been getting great traction with your YouTube channel by exploring every part of this scandal. It really does feel that it's getting bigger and bigger and is right up there with Epstein, with Weinstein, with these other huge scandals we've seen. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think he's going to go to prison for the rest of his natural life. The federal guidelines are going to be astronomical. There's so much that they've gotten in the search warrant from Miami and LA, and he's really looking at trafficking with a lot of aggravating factors.
Which is the most serious for him?
The RICO encompasses all the other statutes. It's the trafficking and then all the other enhancements with that. So guidelines, he's probably looking at in excess of 300 months. Those are just the guidelines. He's isolated because of his celebrity status, so he's not going to have any contact with any other inmates. He's at Metro in New York, which is just a hellhole. The next step in the process would be a motions hearing, probably a motion to suppress the searches of his LA and New York or Miami homes. Then and that'll go nowhere. And then they'll set a trial schedule. They have to have a trial within a certain amount of time, but there's so much discovery in this case that it's going to take a while. So I bet you don't see a trial for a year or thereabouts, and he's going to sit that entire time, and he'll be on suicide watch.
Well, I mean, I saw that he, through his lawyers, they put a bail package proposal that included a $50 million bond co-signed by Combs, his mother, and other family members. It was to include home detention, surrender of his passport, weekly drug tests, a visitor log that would be submitted to pretrial services each night. But that was rejected. I mean, that in itself said to me just how serious the trouble is for Diddy Combs.
Bruce Rivers goes on to comment about the fact that Diddy is not being given bail.
Well, you have a situation where this is a presumptive detention situation. In other words, the defense has to prove, rebut the presumption. While this is all going on, we have witness tampering, we've got potential bribes of witnesses, and then we also have possession of drugs and ammunition and firearms that are obliterated serial numbers. And then he was on his plane trying to go somewhere earlier in the year. So we have a situation where there's a risk of flight and definitely a danger to the public and a potential obstruction of justice.
Bruce goes on to react to Diddy's lawyer's assertion that the entire case against Diddy is bogus and is an unjust prosecution.
Well, one of the things that we talked about, the people who arrange the flights, the people who arrange this and that, all the people in the chain, those are all going to be witnesses against Diddy. We'll start there. Second of all, he's got terabytes of video all over the place. Thirdly, they've got him on recording, threatening a witness, trying to get them to not come forward and testify. They've got video of him beating a woman, dragging her through, Cassie. Dragging her through a hotel. They've got giving IVs to recover. Just the amount, and the key wording here is force, fraud, and coercion. You know, that's the key wording for the sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one thing to have a party with a bunch of ladies and enjoy that. It's quite another thing to keep them there for days until their bruises heal. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a freak off, as it's defined in the indictment, isn't just a party.
No.
It is force, it's fraud, it's coercion. And you're going to see that there won't be a defense to it. His lawyers will take as much money as they possibly can out of him, but the case really will speak for itself.
Let me know what you think of all of this in the comments. I will be dropping my interview with Bruce Rivers next week. Bruce and I discuss current legal cases, the mafia, and much more.
Obviously, you've probably heard of the Danny Masterson trial that's was going on here. And Danny Masterson showed no remorse, so it looks like he's putting all his eggs in the basket of an appeal. What do you think the chances of that are?
Slim to none.
John Joseph Gotti.
Reckless. He was full of himself, and he just thought he was invincible, and nobody's invincible.
Okay. Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano.
Rat.
Okay, interesting question. Will you, if you were representing someone as a defense lawyer, and that person, obviously I'm sure you've had many instances where the government comes and says, we want you to flip and turn state's evidence, or, you know, basically become a snitch or a rat. At that point, would you continue to represent that person, or do you not represent snitches or rats?
When I make it clear on the outset in representation, I don't represent snitches. So if the client says, look, I want to take a deal and, you know, I want to cooperate, I refer him to someplace else, because I don't represent snitches. I'm not wearing pants. No, I'm kidding.
I'm not wearing pants either, man. I'm dead serious. I never do. And also, Bruce, I usually go a little bit casual, but because I'm with Bruce Rivers, the criminal lawyer, I put a jacket on for you.
I just came straight from federal court, so.
Billy Luna. Please subscribe to the Billy Luna channel and like the video. Thank you.